Good morning. We are so excited to be here. And, well, good morning, everybody. All right. So we like to hear. I know it's cold out. We're all going to have to participate. And, look, we just all flew in last night, and we're extremely happy to be here in New York City. We were here about a year ago for this conference for Cloudforce, and was exciting. Of course, we were at the Sheraton Hotel. We had about 2,000 people registered. 1,600 people came and attended the program. But what surprised us about today and got us excited about today, and the reason we're so excited is because of you. We had over 5,000 people register to come to today's program, and there's over 2,500 people right here in this room. So give yourself a round of applause. It was amazing. We're going to have a huge day today. We're going to be doing a lot of amazing things today. Look, this day is all about you. We're here to serve you. I actually brought in my reinforcements. We have a couple hundred employees here in New York City, but also we flew in extra people from San Francisco to support you during the day so that you can be successful. Can everyone who participates, who's a Salesforce employee, just stand up and be recognized today? Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for coming to help out today. We have a fantastic team. We're very fortunate to have a lot of great employees at Salesforce.com. We've got 3,000 people here today. There are 6,000 viewers also on that live cast. We're doing that on all of our programs now. We continually find we can't offer the seating and venues for everyone interested in Salesforce and in cloud computing, so we have to go online. And in addition to that, we've got 45 sponsors here today, 18 breakout sessions for you, 43 demo stations, and we've even got a Salesforce.com foundation activity upstairs at the registration level. As you know, Salesforce.com is a kind of an evangelist of integrated philanthropy, and everywhere we go, we like to try to do something good for wherever we are, and we're going to be telling you about that. So please participate in the Salesforce Foundation activity today. Now, before I begin, you probably know Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol CRM. This is our safe harbor statement. It's one of the better written safe harbor statements, if you could see that by written here. And if you don't have a chance to completely read it, it's also available online. You probably know for over 12 years, we've been coming here to New York City to talk about cloud computing. We're an evangelist of cloud computing. We're a driver of cloud computing. And we're willing to kind of get out here. It's 10 a.m. here, but it's 7 o'clock San Francisco time, so we get up early for you. And the first time I came here to talk about cloud computing, to talk to you about the changes that are going on in our industry and how they can make you more successful, what I found was a huge amount of interest in the 10 people that showed up. It was very exciting. 5 of them were here, of course, for the free lunch. The other 5 were lost. But since that time, 12 years ago, Salesforce has had tremendous growth. You have all been part of that. I want to thank you for that, for supporting us, for encouraging us along our way. We are the 4th fastest growing company in the world, according to Fortune magazine, because of you. We're currently at a $1.8 billion annual revenue run rate. And we've had really strong growth in customers. We've got about 100,000 organizations using our products around the world. About 92,000 of them pay us, and about 10,000 of them get it for free. Those are our nonprofit customers, and we're going to be talking about that in a few minutes too. We've also had really strong operating cash flow. To take a look at a financial metric that we announced last week with 43% 4-year compounded annual growth rate and 69% growth year over year in cash. Look, the reason that this is so exciting is because for over a decade, we've been talking about that applications have been moving to the cloud, software as a service. That instead of buying that traditional software and installing it and upgrading it and maintaining it, instead you can be able to use it right over the internet. And today, of course, there are thousands of cloud computing companies offering applications as a service. And we were the very first. In fact, we came up with the very name platform as a service. The idea that you could build applications right out of the cloud. And that idea of building apps out of the cloud, that platforms were going to be in the cloud, that platforms were going to be as a service, that you didn't have to buy the servers and the databases and the application servers and the disk drives and the networking. Well, that's also taking off, and there's a huge family of companies now doing that as well. And it's not just apps and platform. Collaboration itself is moving to the cloud. Really powerful, really amazing to see what's going on. I mean, we've, of course, seen it in our consumer life with Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. We'll be talking about that in a second. But we're really seeing this next generation of collaboration services. And we put a horse in that race about 6 months ago, Salesforce Chatter, and over 80,000 of our customers are now using that. And for those of you who are with us at Dreamforce, in December, we announced that we're moving to the cloud with our database. And databases are moving to the cloud. We're going to talk about database.com, what the next generation of databases and data management looks like as well. Databases for a long time have been really expensive and really hard to use, and only for really the elite. But now databases, a wide variety of databases, available in the cloud to be able to take as a service. That's an amazing shift forward. You know, the power of cloud computing, it is for everyone. It allows all of us to come together. And the power of cloud computing is small, medium, and large companies all get to participate. Well, I've been doing Salesforce.com for 12 years, and before that I was at Oracle for 13 years. And when I did seminars like this for Oracle here in New York, I only got to speak to very large companies. And I enjoy working with very large companies, but I always wondered, why can't we bring this same technology to small and medium companies as well? Let me give you an example. How many people in this room work for companies with less than 1,000 employees? Would you raise your hands? If you have less than 1,000 employees? And how many people in this room have more than 1,000 employees? Raise your hands. Isn't that amazing? See, that's the democratization of cloud computing. It's a message that can really reach everyone. And that is something that we think makes all of us more successful because we're all using a technology that can scale. Whether you have 1 user or 100,000 users, we can accommodate that in the cloud world. And we've become the global enterprise standard for cloud computing. Our largest customer is the Japan Post, Japan's national bank and post office and insurance company. That's amazing. 400,000 employees, 25,000 locations. They move 1.6 billion packages a day, 100 million savings accounts for Japanese citizens. With those 150,000 users, that's a large implementation of cloud computing. It's a couple dozen custom applications running on our Force.com platform. So the largest and most successful companies in the world can also use cloud computing. One up here is Dell, who has over 100,000 users on Salesforce.com services. This cloud computing model, it's an amazing model. And the model is exciting, and the model is amazing because of something that we did a long time ago. We had a simple idea, which was to take the same software architecture that was being used by Amazon and eBay and Google, multi-tenancy, and be able to take that software architecture and to be able to bring that right into an enterprise world. You know, when I was at Oracle, I was kind of thinking, you know, gee, I'm using Amazon.com. It's very easy to use. It's very easy for me to be able to kind of operate the application. Upgrades were happening, updates. There was tremendous scale. But then I asked myself a very simple question. Why are we still building enterprise software as if the internet itself does not exist? So how can we do that? How can we really take that concept of multi-tenancy that was being pioneered by Yahoo, by Google, by Amazon, by eBay, these first-generation internet companies, and apply it to enterprise software? And that's what we did with multi-tenancy, with automatic upgrades, with pay-as-you-go. We were standing on the shoulders of these consumer giants, and we're still doing that today, as you're going to see in this program. And then what we found was by applying that model, by applying that multi-tenancy model, we could deliver a next generation of enterprise software. Well, it's kind of amazing. I just came from the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And J.P. Raghaswamy, who was just up there talking with Peter, he was with me. And a senior vice president of Microsoft, who I've known for a couple decades, I was talking to him, and I said, you know, let me ask you a question. His name is Craig Mundy. I said, Craig, let me ask you a question. You're an expert in our industry. If Salesforce.com did not exist, how many servers would our 100,000 customers have to buy? It's a very simple question. How many servers would our 100,000 customers have to buy if Salesforce.com did not exist? So he did the calculation. We run a few 100,000 applications, our databases, the app servers. Well, he said, you know what? I think that, probably those customers might have to buy 200,000-300,000 servers, PC servers. I said, well, Craig, what's amazing about Salesforce.com? We only have 2,000 PCs in our data centers running those 100,000 computers. And that's the power of cloud computing. That's the power of the efficiency of multi-tenancy. That's the power of the model. It's those 2,000 PCs. It's that software that we've been working on for 12 years that gives us that capability. That's the next generation of computing. When you take that software, the very software, the essence of Salesforce.com, and you apply it into the cloud computing world, and you put it up against the enterprise software world, you have to ask about efficiency. It's not just that 1% efficiency compared to other technologies like I just modeled. But look at this in terms of environmental impact. If you look at on-premise software and you look at the carbon emitted per transaction, there's no comparison. We talk about sustainability in our industry. We talk about energy efficiency in our industry. If we want more efficiency, if we want to use less energy, this is the best model. This is the most sustainable model for software in the world. And you can see these numbers at green.salesforce.com as well. That's amazing. We're seeing 95% more energy efficiency than the traditional on-premise world. 64% more energy efficiency than the private cloud world. This public cloud model is the answer. But there's a lot of confusion about cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Well, one of the really interesting experiences I recently had was when I was participating as part of Oracle Open World in San Francisco. And Larry Ellison was doing his keynote about cloud computing. But on the stage next to him was a huge computer. And he pointed to it. It had a huge X on it. And he said, this huge computer with an X on it, this is cloud computing. This is cloud computing. And I got onto Twitter, and I'm looking at all the various things going on, and I said, well, I've got to come up with something pithy. I said, well, beware of the false cloud. But the thing that was interesting, not about beware of the false cloud, it was that Werner Vogels, the chief technology officer at Amazon, was also sitting in his kitchen that night. It was actually a Sunday night at 7 p.m. Larry's the only one who does keynotes at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. Werner says, if it's about more hardware, it's not about the cloud. And that's the truth, because you don't get that efficiency. If it's not about automatic upgrades and automatic updates, it's not about cloud computing. If it's not about that instant scale like we saw in the room, from 1 to 100,000 or 1 million users, it's not about cloud computing. Because the reality is the vast majority of the customers that are in this room cannot afford those new, large, next-generation mainframes. It's not about more hardware. It's about democracy. And it's about new application marketplaces, like we see with Apple's App Store or Google's Apps Marketplace or our App Exchange. And it's about energy efficiency. See, I think we should have a cloud computing test. And let's put up those false clouds against the real clouds. Let's look at what the truth really is. Let's examine and let's look at what is and what is not cloud computing. But we do have to beware of the false cloud, because it's not efficient, it's not democratic, it's not economical, it's not environmental, and it's not a lot of other things. And this has been our message now for more than a decade. And I feel it's very important as I go around the world to illuminate that and discuss that with you. We've been broadly recognized for innovation in the cloud by press and analysts all over the world, because we've been talking about this for so long and pioneering a lot of these new ideas. We believe in a new technology model. We believe in a new business model for enterprise software as well. We also believe in a new philanthropic model. You know, when we started our company, we took 1% of our equity, 1% of our profit, and 1% of our time and put it into a foundation, into a public foundation called Salesforce Foundation. It was very easy because we had no profit, we had no time, we had no people, we had no equity. I asked a few friends of mine to join the board of directors of the foundation. One of them is the front row here, Robert Thurman, who runs religion at Columbia University. And Salesforce Foundation today is a alive, active, fast-growing foundation that supports philanthropies all over the world. As I mentioned before, we have 100,000 customers, but only 10,000 of those customers don't pay us. Those are the nonprofit customers. And this was a great decision, and we encourage you and we encourage others to do the same approach of integrated philanthropy. This is a really powerful idea. You know, how many nonprofits actually are in the room? Would you guys just stand up if you're with a nonprofit or non-governmental organization today? Would you stand up and be recognized by everybody? Thank you very much and welcome. You know, I do that because it's the commercial customers that can add the most value to those nonprofits. And I like to introduce them to the commercial customers because as you meet them today and through the day, I'd like to ask you to help them. Because the business of business is not just about business. We can do so much more with technology, and we hope that Salesforce is an enabling model for that. And we're very happy to announce today that a program that we have been supporting now for several years at the City College of New York, which is the Colin Powell Center for Leadership, that in honor of today's event, we're making a $1 million donation to the City College of New York as part of the philanthropy. Thank you. And you can see General Powell here, and this is a great new building that will soon grace the skyline here of New York City, teaching the essence of leadership at the City College. I've also spoken at the City College of New York at the Powell Center, and I'm so excited about this new building. Now, I have to tell you something. What I love about my job. What I love about my job is the amount of change that's constantly happening in our industry. Isn't that right, Dan? I love to talk about change, what's going on in our industry, what's happening in our industry, and how we can take advantage of that change to be more successful as users, to be more successful as organizations. You know, it was about this time last year when I was here in New York City and I was doing Cloudforce when something amazing happened. And what was amazing was that social networking users passed email users. It was a phenomenal thing. Let me ask you a question. How many people here are on Facebook? Can you raise your hands? And how many of you are on Twitter? Can you raise your hands? Yeah, you know, you combine those two user bases together, it's 1 billion users today. That's amazing. That's just a phenomenon that's going on in our world today of social computing. That there's new kinds of technology out on the internet that are really changing how we use the internet itself. It's what we're doing is changing. What we're doing on the internet is really changing. It's changing dramatically. Take a look at this. This is a broad change in internet usage. Look at where people are spending their time on the internet. Look at what they're doing on the internet. You see, the first generation of the internet is dying off. The first generation of the internet is dying off, and the next generation of these websites is emerging. That's why you see this kind of next wave, the next dominated sites, kind of with Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or so many other great new services that are emerging on the internet today. This is awesome for me. I'm constantly watching what are the changes. I know our industry is changing, but what's happening? Look at the ComScore ratings from last month. This is amazing. These old websites are dying off, but the new ones are really growing. They're really expanding. And it's not just what people are doing on the internet that's changing, it's also how they're doing it. Look at this. Look at this. Desktop sales are really flat. PC sales are really flat. But it's not so for kind of smartphones and iPads and tablets. You know, how many people here have a mobile device with them today that's a smartphone? Raise your hands. Pretty awesome. How many people here have an iPad with them today? Raise your hands. Look around the room. That product wasn't even available the last time I was in New York. You know, things are really changing in our industry. This is the future. Yesterday we saw iPad 2 getting released by Apple. Now, we participated in the launch event and we're part of the launch video, really talking about that we see our customers using these devices more and more. Take a look at this Morgan Stanley information. More CIOs see iPads going into their enterprises compared to last year at a speed of new technology adoption that has never been experienced inside enterprises before. Look at that. It's amazing. This is the fastest ramping mobile device ever. That's a powerful thing. This isn't just about the consumer world. This is also about the enterprise. And we have to pay attention to that. I have to pay attention to it. Look, as someone who's running a company and trying to understand what do our customers want, where are our customers going, where is the industry growing, I'm thinking about that. You know, this is a fundamental shift in computing from Cloud 1 to Cloud 2. Now, I realize a lot of our customers and prospects are still on Cloud 0, okay? But over the last 12 years, we've been talking about Cloud 1, which is fast and low cost and easy to use. But we've made a big shift in the last few months at Salesforce that we want you to make as well. Because we think if you want to be successful in the future, you need to realign how you're using computing. Because the users are realigning with 1 billion people on Facebook, with 50 million iPads shipping this year. It's amazing. The world is going social, the world is going mobile, and the world is opening up. We're not in closed systems anymore. We're not in closed systems with closed APIs and closed languages. You know, we're in open systems now with portability and the ability to choose new kinds of languages and new technologies. You know, and when I started my company 10 years ago, I was asking the question, why isn't all enterprise software like Amazon.com? Because that's what I was using. The tab-based interface, right? You know what I'm talking about, and how easy it was, and that kind of visceral experience you had with Amazon.com. But I don't ask that question anymore. I only want to know, why isn't all enterprise software like Facebook? Because if there's 1 billion people using social systems, I assure you that if it's this successful, if you can be this powerful in the consumer world, collaborating, sharing photos, commenting, sharing websites, sharing documents, you can do it in the enterprise world too. But we have to make the leap. We need a Facebook imperative in our industry. We need to move from that Amazon.com interface to the Facebook interface. We need to move from the tab-based world to feeds, where feeds are in our enterprise world, where we're not pulling information out of the internet like we were, but where it's getting pushed at us based on profiles that we're setting up. Just like we do on Facebook, choose our documents, choose our content, choose our contacts, choose the opportunities that we're interested in. Choose what we're interested in, and then let it come to us. You know, I want to follow this, I want to follow that, I want to follow this, and then everything comes to me. You know, I don't want to use a mouse anymore. Look at how we're using computers. We're touching them. You know, this guy over here, he's touching his computer. He's not even looking at me. It's fantastic. That's the way it should be. He's touching his computer. You know, that's the power of what's going on. You know, we're moving into the smartphone world where, you know, it knows where he is. It knows the location. That wasn't even true, you know, a year ago. I'm here. And the software is making that change. I was with the CEO of a new company on Monday at the Morgan Stanley conference in in San Francisco, where I spoke. And he has a company where he's working with retail stores like Best Buy and Target, and it emits a tone inside the store that your smartphone can hear. And when you arrive in the store, the smartphone adjusts and gives you a coupon because it knows you're in that store. Because the GPS is not specific enough in a shopping mall to know that you're in that specific store. Now that's location awareness. That's amazing. And we have these great new operating systems like Luke Lamore was talking about at Seismic. He's a great CEO. He's got an amazing technology. If you haven't put Seismic on your mobile device, you should. You know, Android and Honeycomb. Yeah, you're welcome, Luke. Java, Ruby, Ruby on Rails, the fastest growing language for developers today around the world for the internet. It's what Groupon is written in. The fastest growing company in the world is using Ruby on Rails. And iOS, we just saw the new version of iOS yesterday with the new iPad 2. These are the new operating systems. And software, I remember, I don't know how many people remember this, we used to have these things called disks. And we used to put these disks into our computers to get new software. We don't have disks anymore. Things are getting pre-integrated. It's one click, like the Apple App Store. Isn't that a huge change? You put all those things together, I call that the Facebook imperative. And that's an imperative that I use in my own company that I say to our employees, we need to change, we need to evolve. Because if the Facebook imperative is underway in the industry, certainly in the consumer industry, it's going to spout to sweep through the enterprise. And that is why we're going around the world talking about this. And that's also why we've rewritten our stack and our code. Starting in December 1st of 2008, we recognized this Facebook imperative. And we did something amazing. We took half our developers and we said, okay, we're going to go and start rebuilding our code. We're going to build a social layer around everything that looks like Facebook. We're going to rebuild our Sales Cloud. We're going to rebuild our Service Cloud. We're going to encourage our key ISVs like BMC, Bob Beecham, their CEO, just walked in to talk about what he's doing to rewrite their core apps natively on our platform, like Remedy, which is what Bob just did. And we're going to rebuild our application development and deployment environment to have feeds in it, to have profiles in it, to have status updates in it, so you can build social apps very fast, right out of the cloud. And we're going to upgrade all of our database technology and deliver a new database service that has those social models built into the APIs and built into the data structures and schemas. And that's what we've done with Cloud 2. That's what we've done with our core architecture. We've delivered that with database.com, which is our database as a service. We've delivered that with our next generation of force.com, which is the application development and deployment tools you need to build these apps. And we've done that with our Sales Cloud, which we're going to walk through, in our Service Cloud. We're going to be showing those to you today. And we've built a new version of our Service Cloud, which has a lot of new social technology into it. And we're going to show that today for the very first time, Service Cloud 3 and our App Exchange. And we've wrapped it all with Chatter, which has been the fastest growing new technology we've ever rolled out. It's only been out for about 6 months, and 80,000 customers are already on Chatter. How many people here are already using Chatter inside their organizations? Can you raise your hands? Yeah, so we have quite a few of those companies here. We built the first enterprise database for the cloud. We really believe in this vision of database.com. We really think databases need to get lower cost and easier to use. If we can do it for 500 million transactions a day for our customers at 4 to 5 nines of consistent reliability with under 300 milliseconds, why can't we offer that to all of you? And why can't we take every core component of our database technology and offer that as a service to you, our customers? Everything you need, all of these key components, and you see many of them here, whether it's the social data model that I was talking about, or the key APIs, or the security models. Open that up and deliver it as a service. And application development and deployment as a service as well. AppForce, SiteForce, VMForce, Heroku. We have a vision of giving you a broad range of tools that you can be totally successful with writing apps. AppForce is the way that our customers build those apps. SiteForce is how you can rapidly build new websites. We bought a great company last year called SiteMasher. We rewrote it, put it into our application development and deployment service, added the cloud capabilities and the social capabilities when we introduced it at Dreamforce, and now we're rolling it out to our customers as SiteForce. VMForce, we partnered with VMware because we think that systems need to be open. So you can build in Java on our cloud, and that Java portability will work whether it's on our system or whether it's on other systems. And Heroku, Ruby on Rails, another standardized application development and deployment environment that you can use their very powerful JIT architecture and you can build Ruby apps that fully integrate and operate with our services or with others. And the Ruby code is portable. So if you don't want to use our system, you can move your code. That's a powerful idea. That's not what Microsoft is doing with Azure, is it? You know, that's a .NET-based system. And for those of you who are using .NET and C#, that's the old way. It's proprietary. It's not portable. It's a closed system. And we're not going in those closed standards. We're not using those closed languages. We're giving you the open system so you can move between clouds if that's important to you. Just as J.P. Raghaswamy, our chief scientist, was just talking about, and also how he's written about with his cloud principles. This concept of an open platform for building enterprise apps is a new, powerful idea, and something that we're heavily investing in because we think the platform for you is as important as the platform for us. The very tools that we use to build our apps, we've now opened up for our customers. So you can use these tools to build your own apps. And if you don't like our apps, you can take them apart and put them back together using the platform. This is not a fixed app. The things that you see today are not fixed. They're not hard-coded. You can take these systems apart and put them back together. Every customer here has probably already done significant customization. It's that metadata we found that makes customers so successful. It's built the world's leading sales app. It's not just about the accounts and contacts and the marketings and leads and the integrated, data cleansing and collaboration and social and all the things that you're going to hear about today on the Sales Cloud. Yes, it's all of those, but it's the architecture. It's the architecture that they're built on a platform that gives you that extensibility and customizability. It's not just about the next generation of customer service, which is extremely important and has things like the social monitoring and the social agents and the social contact center and the things that you need to be successful in this new social world and to deliver customer service right onto the internet in the social paradigm. Yes, that's important, but it's also the architecture. And that's really the point I want to make before we roll into the demos, that everything you see today is built on the platform. And it's a major investment that we're making for you. And you're going to hear from Bob later and from other ISVs who have taken that platform and they don't use our Sales Cloud or Service Cloud at all. They've built their own apps. Bob took one of the most popular apps in the enterprise, Remedy. How many people here have heard of Remedy? Raise your hands. The #1 help desk IT app in the world, and rewrote it natively onto Force.com. And if he can do it, you can do it too. And on top of all of that, we wrap a social layer so that it looks like Facebook, so that it looks like Twitter. So it's got the feeds, the profiles, the status updates. And again, Chatter is not an app, it's a platform so that you can build your own app with it, so that you can do your own things. Your own apps, your own industries. And you're going to learn how to do that today. That's why we're here. That's why we have all these employees here to help you. We're going to show you how to do that. We want to welcome you to Cloud 2. We want to open a door for you. We want to show you what we have been working on. And let me tell you something. This is real. This is solid. We haven't just been talking about this for 12 years. We delivered 26.7 billion transactions for our customers last quarter. We've had 60% year-over-year growth with our transaction volume. We managed 25.3 billion database records for our customers, up 123%. Year over year. We manage over 1 billion lines of code for our customers with Apex, and our performance has remained excellent through all of that. So we're delivering the data management, the scale, the reliability, the availability that you need to be successful. We've built a brand that is based on trust and partnership and on the ability to meet with you face-to-face so that you can make the right decisions for cloud computing, whether it's apps, whether it's platform, whether it's database, whether it's the social tools. And we're making the investments. One of the great things we did about 18 months ago is we bought a company called Instranet in Paris, France. And the leader of Instranet was an amazing technologist that I had known before because he was one of the founders of Business Objects and had done tremendous computer science there. And then he had done tremendous computer science at his company called Instranet, building the next generation in knowledge management. He's now our executive vice president of CRM. And I'd like you to have a strong welcome for a great leader, a great technologist in our industry, Please welcome Alex Dayon. Welcome, Alex.